concepts today. We'll start with a prayer with a few dhyana shlokas, and then I will start the lecture. Om Agajanana Padmakam Gajanana Maharnisham Anekadantam Bhaktanam Ekadantam Vasmahe Ya Kundendu Tusharahara Dhavalaya Shudravastra Ya Veena Varadanda Panditagaraya Shveta Padmasana Ya Brahmachyuta Shankara Prabhudabhirdevai Sada Pujita Samam Padu Saraswati Bhagavati Nisheshajadhyapaha Idambaram Karavirajita Shankachakra Kaumodaki Sarasikyam Karuna Samudram Radha Sahayam Pidambaram Karavirajita Shankachakra Kaumodaki Sarasikyam Karuna Samudram Radha Sahayam Abhisundaramandahasam Vadalesha Manisham Dhatibhavayami Namah Shivabhyam Navayovanabhyam Paraspara Srishtavabruddharabhyam Nagendra Ganyam Shagedanabhyam Namo Namah Shankara Parvatibhyam Namo Brahmadibhyo Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradayakatrubhyo Vamsharishubhyo Mahadbhyo Guru Sri Gurubhyam Sarvo Vaplavirahita Prajnanakanaham Pratyagartho Brahmaivahamasmi. Friends, as Nidhi pointed out, yesterday was Vivekananda birthday, and we are celebrating the Vivekananda Jayanti this week. So you are all familiar with Swami Vivekananda and his many contributions to Hinduism. He is very well known for bringing Hinduism to the Western countries, and his speech in Chicago, incidentally, was on September 11th. Before we come to know the current September 11th, it was on September 11th, 1893, that he gave a very beautiful speech in Chicago. And in that speech, and in many lectures that he conducted throughout the world, especially throughout various parts of India, he basically preached a few things. First, he talked about the Sanatana Dharma, or the Hindu religious principles, and the fact that Sanatana Dharma is the ancient culture, religious culture in the whole world. And Sanatana Dharma dates back several thousand years prior to some of the other religions that evolved in the world. And he also talked about the aspects of tolerance and inclusion that is part of Sanatana Dharma. In fact, in the speech in Chicago, he pointed out that India and the Hindu Dharma, or the Sanatana Dharma, accepted many people persecuted by their religions, persecuted for their religions. For example, I was born and raised in Kerala, very close to my birthplace, about 7-8 kilometers from my birthplace, is the city of Fort Cochin and Mattancherry, where there is a Jewish synagogue right next to a Devi temple. In fact, they share the same wall. There was a large community of Jewish immigrants who had migrated from Israel long time ago due to persecution, religious persecution there from the Romans and others, and they had moved to India at that time. So many of those people have now, since then, have relocated back to Israel, but still, we had one of the largest Jewish communities in the country, in the area that I was growing up in. So, Swami Vivekananda talked about how India and the Sanatana Dharma was very inclusive religion in terms of accepting the God in any religion as a way to attain salvation. In fact, he quoted the very famous sloka from our culture that we use in our daily Sandhyavandanam, daily prayers. Akashat patitam toyam yadha gacchati sagaram sarvadeva namaskaraha keshavam prati gacchati. So this is a very famous sloka. Basically what the sloka says is, just like how the waters, akashat patitam toyam, the water that falls from the sky, and the water that is flowing in various rivers and tributaries, how they all end up in the ocean. Yatha gacchati sagaram, sarvadeva namaskaraha keshavam prati gacchati. So whoever you worship, whichever god or whichever idol or whichever entity that you worship, that all leads to the same person or the same individual. And so he was very, his speeches were very, very inclusive, very tolerant, and more importantly, he encouraged and he talked about how you can understand and overcome some of your fears and enemies, and how you can bring out the best in you. So his speeches were always motivational. He always used to end his speeches with Uttishthata, Jagrada, Prapya Varam Nibodhata, which is a Upanishad verse. To rise up, Uttishthata, you get up, Jagrada, be alert, and Prapya Varam Nibodhata, you attain great heights or great glory by understanding your true nature and understanding your abilities and working them towards the benefit of mankind. So Swami Vivekananda, in his various lectures, and I'm not going to go into a biographical lecture here. You're all familiar with his biography and how he was a disciple of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, and he meditated in various places. And in Kanyakumari, there's a famous Vivekananda rock where he did meditation. And so, without going into the biographical aspects of Swami Vivekananda mainly in his lectures all through India and abroad, he talked about the 4 yogas in our Sanatana Dharma tradition. The 4 yogas being Karma Yoga, Raja Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and Jnana Yoga. And he did a series of lectures on these 4 yogas, and he essentially encouraged all the listeners to start pursuing this path of these yoga and become a yogi. So today, I want to spend the most of my time, next 30 minutes or so, to talk about the 4 yogas that Swami Vivekananda talked about. And given the nature of the time constraint we have, I probably will cover the first 2, the Karma Yoga and the Raja Yoga or the Dhyana Yoga. And I will be using, again, references and context from various acharyas, not just Vivekananda, but various acharyas in Sanatana Dharma, especially Sri Shankaracharya, Shankaracharya Bhagavatpada, who was instrumental in giving us the clear understanding of the Vedas and the Upanishads. So when Shankaracharya came to during Shankaracharya's time, there was a lot of confusion within Hinduism. Some of the Buddhist philosophies were gaining traction within our country. And Shankaracharya single-handedly clarified what is in the Upanishads and the Vedas so that people can understand and people can fully follow the Vedic concepts. So various groups or factions that were in some fashion working against each other were united And so the discussion that we will have today about Karma Yoga and Raja Yoga will be following the principles laid out by Shankaracharya himself, and again following the principles laid out in the Bhagavad Gita. So today's lecture will be a combination of Vivekananda Ji's lectures along with the concepts of Karma Yoga from Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Sri Shankaracharya's various commentaries and works. So with this introduction, let me start with what is Karma Yoga. So if you look at our Vedas, we consider our Vedas to be supreme, and Vedas as the Pramana. Pramana means the source for all knowledge. The word Veda comes from the root vid, or to know. Basically what that means is, whatever that one needs to know is contained in the Vedas. So in fact, in Upanishads, in the various Upanishads, the Veda, the Vidya that is contained in Veda is defined as two types of Vidyas. One is known as Paravidya and one is known as Aparavidya. And the Upanishad says, you put all the knowledge that is Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Dharmaveda, Dhanurveda, Ayurveda, you put all these things in the category of Aparavidya. And then there is Paravidya, which is the knowledge about yourself or the Atman. So again, that knowledge is also contained in the Vedas. So when the Upanishad says you put all of that into all the Vedas into Aparavidya, what it means is the portion of the Vedas which talks about the Karma Kanda or the what is known as Dharma, that is known as Aparavidya, and whatever talks about the true nature of the Atman or the identification of the Jivatman to the Paramatman, that is the Paravidya. So the Vedas can be broadly classified into two sections. In fact, the first section of Vedas starts with Adhato Dharma Jignasa. So then, therefore, we start the learning of the Dharma Jignasa. So that is the first section. We call that as the Karma Kanda of the Vedas. And in the Karma Kanda, various things are talked about. How to perform action, what types of actions to be performed. So, what about all the things? In fact, when we talked about the four yogas, the Karma Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, and the Bhakti Yoga will fall under the Karma Kanda. And then the Veda Anta or Veda Purva Bhaga is the Karma Kanda, and the Veda Anta Bhaga or the end of the Vedas is known as the Jnana Kanda. And the Veda Anta Bhaga starts with Athato Brahma Jignasa. So you start with the Dharma Jignasa, and once you conclude the Dharma Jignasa, then you move into Brahma Jignasa. So learning about the Brahman or the Atman. And our system of knowledge tells us that the Karma Kanda portion is to be used for preparing yourselves to learn or to get deeper into the Jnana Kanda. So Karma Kanda is required before you can enter into the Jnana Kanda. Without Karma Kanda, you cannot enter into Jnana Kanda because whatever you are going to learn in Jnana Kanda will not mean anything to you. Karma Kanda is supposed to give you mental purification, Chitta Shuddhi, which is purity of thought and purity of mind, Chitta Ekagrata or concentration, and then Chitta Vishalada. Vishalada is basically expansion of your mind. So these three things have to be attained by practicing what is prescribed in the Karma Kanda. And the three yogas that are prescribed for doing this Karma Kanda is the Karma Yoga, Raja Yoga, or sometimes called as Dhyana Yoga, and then Bhakti Yoga, or Upasana Yoga. So these are the three yogas to be performed for getting the purification of the mind, purification of the individual, and then followed that up with the concentration or ekagrata and the expansion or the vishala, expansion to view every living being and every object in this universe as Brahman itself. So these are the three things that is specified for the Karmakanda portion. You need both the Karmakanda and the Jnanakanda to get to the ultimate goal. Your ultimate goal being the moksha or salvation. The Karmakanda gives you the qualifications, and then Jnanakanda, by studying and practicing the meditation in the Jnanakanda, you are supposed to remove the ignorance or avidya or ajnana that is causing the illusion of Maya. So Karmakanda, again, you can divide karma or action. Karma means action. You can divide karma or action into various types. So one categorization can be physical action, which is called kayika karma, vachika karma, which is using words or vocal, and then manasika karma, which is mental or using your mind. So the example of a physical action is you perform certain good deeds, certain yagas, yajnas, whatever action that you do, that's a kayika karma. Whatever japa, parayana that you do, you read Bhagavad Gita, you read certain japa, those are vachika karmas. And then you do manasika karma, so anything like a meditation, etc., that is considered a manasika karma. So, interestingly, when Karmakanda, before Shankaracharya's time, there were certain groups of people known as Purva Mimamsakas who valued the Karmakanda to the detriment of the Jnanakanda, basically saying that Karmakanda will give you everything. Just action is going to give you everything. In fact, the famous, you may have heard about the famous story of Shankaracharya debating Mandana Mishra. And Mandana Mishra was a Purva Mimamsaka. He believed in karma as the ultimate source for all that you need. Some other people, they don't want to do karma yoga at all, where they say, what is the purpose of karma yoga? Because anyway I need to be in the jnana marga to get liberation, so there's no point in doing the karma yoga. So both are not going to meet your objective, because one is not going to be possible without, the jnana marga is not going to be possible without doing the karma marga. And if you just stop at karma marga without pursuing the jnana marga, your efforts will be incomplete. So, when I was talking about the Purva Mimamsakas, their concept was that we accept the Vedas, we accept the benefit of the karma, but we really don't accept a Ishvara or God. So for them, the world and the Vedas, they are very real, not created by God, and their thinking or thought process was the karma itself gives the karma bhalam. There is no requirement for a karma bhaladata. And karma gives all the benefits that you need, including moksha. So Ramana Maharshi, who is a saint who composed many works, philosophical works, including a famous 30 sloka verse called Upadesha Saram. He starts his Upadesha Saram with one sloka, Karturajnaya prapyate bhalam karma kim param karma tajjalam. Very simple two-line verses. There are 30 of these verses, very beautifully encapsulating the entire 4 yogas, karma yoga to jnana yoga. So he starts with the very first one is Karturajnaya prapyate bhalam karma kim param karma tajjalam. So Karturajnaya, so with the with the guidance or with the influence of God, you are deriving the benefit of your karma. Karma kim param karma tajjaram. So what do you expect karma to give you if there was no Isha? So he basically negates the Purva Mimamsaka thinking that karma alone will give you moksha. And of course, Shankaracharya had a great debate with Mandan Mishra, and then Mandan Mishra became the very first disciple and had the name Sureshwaracharya. He became the disciple of Shankaracharya, and he was the very first pontiff at the Sringeri Sharada Peetham. And so Mandan Mishra, from a Purva Mimamsaka, he became an Advaita Siddhantin and followed Shankaracharya. So again, Karma Yoga, the object is to purify your mind. We all start this process of journey of the yoga as a karmi or a person who performs various actions. And the actions that are there, the karma actions, you can basically classify them into nitya karma, nainitya karma, kamya karma, prayaschitta karma, and nishiddha karma. So basically fivefold you can classify any action. Nitya nainitya falls in the category of action that you need to do swadharma based on a daily basis. So there are certain actions or activities that you need to do that is known as nitya karma. Nainitya karma is on a certain occasion. So there are certain occasions, and based on that occasion, you perform the nainitya karma. A karma karma is performed with a certain result that you desire in mind. So you are desiring of a certain result, and you perform certain actions for it. And then the prayaschitta karma again is done to remove your past sins by doing prayaschitta or penance for your prior actions and removing any accrued papa. And nishiddha karmas are those karmas which one should not do at any time. Now, we all start, as I said, as karmi, and we engage, typically speaking, everybody should be doing the nitya nainitya karma on a daily basis, always, and never do the nishiddha karma. So that should be the starting point for anybody. Nitya and nainitya karma, always, nishiddha, never. And then, because we are all in the karmi stage, we have a desire for certain results or certain karma phala, we do karma karma and prayaschitta karma. Now we can continue doing that at this stage as long as all our actions follow the path of dharma. At no point in time you can go against dharma whenever any action is performed. So the actions always have to follow the path of dharma, and then you are allowed to do karma karma and prayaschitta karma at early stages, because you are starting in your early days, you're starting your actions expecting a result. You want a specific results. So this is called sakama karma. So you are desirous of a result and you start performing the action. And again, the goal at this stage is, at some point in time, after you do the karma karmas for several years, several decades maybe, you come to the realization that the benefits or the results that you're getting from these karma karmas are not that significant compared to your ultimate goal being liberation. So then you slowly mature from a yoga-kshema mentality to parobhakaraka. A yoga-kshema mentality meaning yoga refers to acquiring things, and kshema refers to maintaining what you have already acquired. So essentially going from a yoga-kshema personality, acquiring and maintaining various objects and worldly items, you go from there to nishkama karma or parobhakara pradhana karma. So doing karma to help the society, doing karma to you may also get benefit for that karma because you are part of the society, but it is not for your individual benefit. So In Bhagavad Gita, the how a person doing various actions of karma can go from a karmi to a karma yogi. A karma yogi is one who does actions for the benefit of everyone without expecting a specific result for himself. That is very well encapsulated in Bhagavad Gita in the third chapter, the 30th sloka. Mayi sarvani karmani sanyasya adhyatma chetasa nirashir nirmamo bhutva yudhyasva vikadajjara. So if you look at this particular sloka, I refer to this sloka as the summary of the entire karma yoga and how one can transition from being a karmi to a karma yogi. Interestingly, the karma yoga or the action, performing actions, is prescribed not only for the sadhaka who is trying to become a jnani, but even after you become a jnani, Bhagavad Gita says, Loka sangrahartham, you keep continuing to do the karma. This is a very unique point in Bhagavad Gita. In certain other Vedantic texts like Viveka Chudamani, you will find that once you become a jnani, you give up all karmas. But Bhagavad Gita clearly says there are many jnanis. In fact, a good example is Shankaracharya himself, who did various karmas even though he was a jnani. So, as a jnani, before you are become a jnani, you do karma yoga, and then once you become a jnani, you do karma for loka sangraha or the benefit of the society. Now, this particular sloka, he talks about 5 important points. By following these 5-fold points, you can go from a karmi to a karma yogi. Now, again, I'll say the sloka one more time. Mayi sarvani karmani sanyasya adhyatma chetasa. So the first point is adhyatma chetasa. Adhyatma chetasa, adhyatma chetaha here refers to viveka buddhi, viveka or discrimination. So what are you discriminating between? You are discriminating between a material prosperity, or in the Upanishad language, preyo margyaha, versus spiritual prosperity, which is in Upanishadic language again, Shreyo Marga. So, Adhyatma Chetasa. So, throughout my life, as a sadhaka, my objective or goal should be spiritual or moksha. I may have material gains along the way, material gains may come, material gains may not happen. As I expected, it may not happen. That is fine. Spiritual growth alone is important to me. And so basically all your actions are for the internal growth, and even if the action itself is a failure only because you didn't get the expected result, but it will still give me spiritual growth. So this is the first point of a karmi to karma yogi, which is adhyatma chetaha. Second point, nirashir nirmamo bhutva yudhyasva vigadajjara. Second point is yudhyasva vigadajjara. Yudhyasva here means do battle, because this Bhagavad Gita is a message given to Arjuna in the battlefield. So yudhyasva again here refers to do battle, but in our context yudhyasva means do your duty, do your karma. So never back away from doing your karma. And then how do you want to do the duty? Vigadajjara, without anxiety, without worry. Because you have anxiety or worry for doing a karma if you suspect that I may not get, if your fear is I may not get what I really started out to do. If I have to do certain action, that action has to give me this result, then you will always have anxiety. Will I get that result? Will I not get that result? But here, as a karma yogi, you're going to see next that he has no expectation. So because he has no expectation, he can do the action without anxiety. So at any point in time, whatever is the right action, you do it do your duty without expectation or without anxiety. without tension. That is the second point. Then, third point is Mayi Karmani Sanyasya. Mayi Sarvani Karmani Sanyasya. So, all the karmas you sanyasya here means you offer to me. And offer to me means to Ishvara. So, Ishwararpana Buddhya. So, with Ishwararpana Buddhi, you do your karma. So, this is known as Ishvare Karma Samarpana. So, we consider Ishvara as the karma dhyaksha, or the adjudicator of the karmas and who gives the karma bhaladata. And karma, we perform the karma in an aspect of Ishwararpana Buddhi. So when we perform the karma, we are offering this to the Ishvara. And how do we want to do that? So that is the third point, Mayi Sarvani Karmani Sanyasya. And the fourth point is Nirashi. While doing action, you have no concern for the result. Asha means desire. Nirashi, without any expectation, no concern for the result. Basically what that means is you are ready to receive any result. And in fact, there are stories, I don't have time to quote the story, but in Kena Upanishad there is a very beautiful story that all the gods, they felt that they had this great victory and they are celebrating and they claimed that the victory was mine. So here, I'm sorry, that's for the next point. So, Nirashi, without expectation, Sangam Tektva, that is without any expectation, without any attachment to your action. And then the final fifth point is Nirmama, without the mamakara, without absence of ownership. So when the result comes, don't have an expectation or don't have the attachment to the result as this is the result of my hard work. Basically consider it as Ishvara Prasada. So this is where I wanted to quote the story from the Kena Upanishad. At the time of getting the result, where the Devas felt that all the victory that they achieved was because of their effort and their superiority, and then there was a test where Yaksha comes and he gives a test, and they all fail the test, and finally Yaksha reveals himself to be Ishvara, and then he explains that their ownership in the result is what caused them to fail. So the 5 points for Karma Yogi is always do your action, or do your action all the time. Do it as, again, do it without anxiety or do it without tension. Do it with Ishwararpana Buddhi, and when performing the action, no concern for the result, and when the result comes, not having the mamakara or attachment to it, that this is based on your duty. So this is basically what Bhagavad Gita teaches about Karma Yoga. And if you can perform your actions in this fashion, you become a Karma Yogi. And in this manner, anybody who does the karma, the action can never fail because your goals are always spiritual. And you have the right attitude. The question of failure does not arise when you do the karma in this fashion. In fact, Bhagavad Gita itself says in the 2nd chapter, Neha Vikramanasosti Pratyavayo na vidyate. So, Swalpam apyasya dharmasya prayate mahato bhayat. So you do even a little bit of this dharma that will protect you from the great fear. So act all the time, no time to react, and that is the Karma Yoga. So Vivekananda talked extensively about Karma Yoga for purifying the mind. Then he also talked about the Raja Yoga, which is also known as Dhyana Yoga. Now the Raja Yoga, I have about 10 to 15 more minutes, and I will try to cover the Raja Yoga portion from Vivekananda's lectures. So Raja Yoga or Dhyana Yoga is following the Yoga Shastra of Patanjali, Ashtanga Yoga, that I'm sure you're all familiar with. Now, Shankaracharya, as an Advaitic philosopher, We don't accept the philosophy that is outlined in Patanjali Yoga Shastra, but we accept the abhyasa or the actions prescribed in Yoga Shastra as a part of Manashuddhi, Chitta Shuddhi, Chitta Ekagrata, and Chitta Visharada. So in other words, what I mean to say is, Patanjali Yoga Shastra talks about doing only yoga to reach your goals, whereas Shankaracharya's Advaita Siddhanta tells us that ultimate Jnana Devatu Kaivalyam in Bhagavad Gita, and in Viveka Chudamani, Shankaracharya has a famous sloka, Mokshakarana Samagriyam Bhaktireva Gariyasi Swaswarupānusamdhanam Bhaktirityavidiyate. So Shankaracharya clearly says, understanding your true nature is how you reach salvation. So I want to briefly talk about the Patanjali's Yoga Shastra. Now when we talk about yoga, we are all familiar with the yoga as a way to control, to do the various asanas and poses, and to help our body, physical body. But Ashtanga Yoga is much more than that. Ashtanga Yoga, there are 8 steps. Yamaniyamasana Pratyayama, Yamaniyamasana Pranayama Pratyahara Dharana Dhyana Nirodha. There are 8 steps of Ashtanga Yoga. And these 8 steps put together, it tries to unify the yoga. Word yoga comes from the Sanskrit word yuj, or to join. And the purpose of Ashtanga Yoga is to join the various koshas in our body, Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya koshas, to join them together so that we can function efficiently as a person. Now let's see the 8 steps, or the 8 steps of the Ashtanga Yoga. The first 2 are Yama and Niyama. Yama and Niyama refers to a way of life, or also known as Bahiranga Sadhana. So this is how a person should conduct himself all the time. This shows our mental makeup. Now the word Yama means one that needs to be avoided, or Nishiddha, one that has to be avoided. For a calm mind, what you need to avoid, that is described in Yama. And Niyama means what you need to do. Vidhi. So one is Vidhi, the other is Nishedha. Now in the Yama category, so just like how the Christian religion has the famous 10 commandments, the 10 commandments of our religion is not called 10 commandments, but the 10 commandments of our religion is this Yama Niyama, which is to be performed all the time. So there are 5 things mentioned under Yama and 5 things under Niyama. So the 5 things under Yama, Ahimsa, Satyamasteyam, Brahmacharyo, Aparigraha. These are the 5 things which is known as Yama. Yama, as I said, is things to be avoided. So let's see one by one. First one is Ahimsa. So give up violence. Now when I say violence, it is not just going and physically attacking somebody or hitting somebody. It includes mental thoughts of damaging another person, verbal actions. So you may not physically hit somebody, but you may scream at another person. That is considered to be violence. So any type of violence, both Kayika, Vachika, Manasika, what type of violence, you give up violence. That is the very first rule. Basically, we know and we understand that what we do to others is going to come back to you in a different form. So you encourage violence and you participate in violence. It's like a mirror. You're going to get it back at some time later. Then second one is Satyam. So again, you give up the Asatyam. Anruta Varjanam you give up. So again, any untruthful words and actions you avoid. Again, it can be thought, manasika, vachika, kayika, all kinds of actions and thoughts, anruta varjana. Third thing is asteya. You give up stealing. Steya means steal something from another person. So again, when you talk about expand this give up of stealing, it does not physically mean you have to break into somebody's property and steal something. Mentally wanting to have somebody else's property, doing things which you really do not belong to you, taking ownership of it, all this comes under asteya. Then, fourth one is brahmacharya. So that means always stay as brahmacharya, but giving up the opposite of brahmacharya, which is the inappropriate attitude towards the opposite sex. So, in fact, our religion teaches us that we view everyone except our own spouse as our mother. So, we paradareshu matruvat. So, other people's family, we treat them as mothers. So, brahmacharya, giving up inappropriate attitude towards the opposite sex. And then finally, aparigraha. Aparigraha is non-possession. That means wanting to have ownership of too many things which you do not need. That is called aparigraha. And also, in some contexts, it can convey receiving gifts which you are not entitled to from a patram, from a person, not worthy of receiving that gift. So all those is included in aparigraha. So these 5 things, ahimsa, satyam, asteyam, brahmacharyo, aparigraha, falls under the yama category. And then the niyama category, I'm running short of time, so I'm going to go a little faster. Shaucham, santosham, swadhyaya, tapaha, ishvara, pranidhana. So these are the 5 things. Shaucham refers to purity, both mental, internal and external purity. Santosham is contentment. You should always be content with what you receive. In fact, there is basically we do not compare ourselves with other people. Shankaracharya in his famous Bhajagovindam, in the very second stanza, he says, Mudha jahihi dhanagama krishnam, kuru sadbuddhim manasi vitrushnam, yel labhase nija karmobhatam, vittam tena vinodaya chitta. Whatever is available to you due to your duty and action, in that you vinodaya chitta, you enjoy your mind in that. So that is the contentment. Then swadhyaya refers to scriptural study, the portions in our Vedas and Puranas and Itihasas that we are duty bound to study and learn, that is swadhyaya. And tapaha refers to austerity or tapas, also refers to simple living. Again, our forefathers are very well known for simple living and high thinking. So tapaha refers to austerity and tapas. And Ishvara Pranidhanam. Ishvara Pranidhanam is surrender to, Sharanagati to Ishvara. Basically, we are saying that whatever experiences, whatever good experiences, bad experiences that we are having, is all based on the law of karma. We are not fighting that result. We are not angry at the Ishvara for giving us that result. Whatever we receive, we take it as Bhagavat Prasada. We always try to improve our future by doing the right actions now. But we do not know, our past actions may bring certain types of results. Not allowing the experience that you currently have to create a bitterness or hatred or anger or jealousy in your mind. This is Ishvara Pranidhana, also known as Saranagati, Prapatti, etc. So this is the Yama Niyama, which is Bahiranga Sadhana, which is to be followed at all times. Then the third step is Asana, basically, which is what we are familiar when we do yoga practice. Basically, you stay in a particular posture to control your physical body, Annamaya posture. posture. And the next three, basically the asana, pranayama, and pratyahara, are known as antaranga sadhana. And this again is not to be performed all the time. See, yama niyama is to be performed every day, every minute, 24/7 throughout our life. Because there are certain things which you should not do, and certain things which you should do. That says constant. It is not based on certain occasions. It's always like that. Whereas the asana, pranayama, and pratyahara are known as antaranga sadhana and to be performed when you are ready to meditate or ready to do control of the body. So asana refers to the postures. Pranayama is basically controlling the shvasochvasa. So in fact, Ramana Maharshi in his Padesha Saram says, Vayurodhana liyate manaha jala pakshiva rodha sadhanam. By controlling the prana, your mind becomes calmer. And he gives an example, jala pakshiva rodha sadhanam. It is like encasing a fluttering bird in a cage. The bird is trying to flutter and fly away, but you are putting it in a cage, and because of the cage, it is not able to fly away. So the mind is like the bird which is trying to fly in various directions. By doing pranayama or shvasochvasa niyantranam, you control the fluttering of your mind. And the fifth step is pratyahara, basically which talks about your jnanendriyas, withdrawing it from the senses or sense control. In Vedantic terms, we call it as dhamma. So this is the asana, pranayama, pratyahara of Ashtanga Yoga, which is the antaranga sadhana. And then the final three, and I will start with this three here, dharana, dhyana, samadhi, which is known as the dhyana swarupa. So this is, in fact, Patanjali says, trayam ekatra samyamaha. This is known as atma samyamaha. Samyamaha means dhyana. So dharana, dhyana, and samadhi together is known as dhyana. So what is dharana? Dharana is to withdraw the mind from the worldly objects to a particular object that you are going to meditate upon. So again, the object of dhyana vastu will be different for different people. For certain people, it will be your Ishta Devata. So you may be meditating on Rama or Krishna or Devi. Some people may use the chakra system. So whatever be your object of meditation. Now these objects of meditation need to be Daivika, not an atheist type of dhyana. If you are doing atheist dhyana without a God behind as the object of meditation, then that is known as an exercise in concentration, nothing more. To be called a dharana, the definition of dharana is saguna brahma vishaya manasa vyapara. So in terms of a saguna murti, you let your mind pervade that murti, that is dharana. Then the next one is dhyana, which is the dharana kept the mind from the external objects to the deity. Dhyana retains our mind in the deity itself, because the concept of the mind is, or the nature of the mind is, it keeps going to various places every few seconds. We are not able to focus. So dhyana is supposed to bring it back. Yato yato nischarati manaschanchalamasthiram tatastato niyamedad atmanyeva vasham nayed. Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan says, whenever the mind wanders to something else, you bring it back. That is called dhyana. You need a lot of effort, you need willpower. Basically, it's a question of you doing something, you fail, you bring it back, again try, this time you'll be able to do a little more. So this is dhyana. Then finally, the last eighth step is samadhi. Samadhi refers to the absorption of the mind. So basically, during the dharana and dhyana stages, there were discordant thoughts coming up. So there were what are known as vikshepas. So in Samadhi, we are going to have a state where you have no discordant thoughts. So the definition given by Patanjali is Vijadiya pratyaya anantarita sajadiya pratyaya pravaha. Vijadiya pratyaya, that means discordant, various types of thoughts, anantarita, avoiding those, sajadiya pratyaya pravaha. The flow, pravaha, the word used is pravaha, like a flow. In fact, again, I want to quote one more Upadesha Sara sloka. Ajyadharaya sotasasamam saralachintanam viralataparam. He's giving an example of two things. One is Ajyadhara. Ajyadhara is a melted ghee or ghee in the form of a liquid. You pour it from one vessel to another vessel. How it flows without any break, the continuous flow of the oil or the ghee, that is Ajyadhara. Or the second example is Srotasasama, how a river flows without any break. When a river is flowing from the source to the destination, it is flowing without break. Sarala Chintana, effortless meditation, Viralata Param, without broken thoughts. There is always Param or superior. So a Vedanti, so this is the Saguna Ishvara Upasana is mentioned here in the Ashtanga Yoga. The same meditation is performed by a Jnani, and it is known as part of the Jnana Yoga, and that is known as Nitidhyasana. And the difference is between a Saguna Ishvara Upasana and a Jnana Yogi who is performing the meditation. The Jnana Yogi is not focusing on a Saguna Ishvara. He is focusing on Vedantic thoughts such as Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Muktosmi, Aham Truptosmi, Aham Shuddha Chaitanyamasmi. So this is the difference between a Saguna Ishvara meditation, which is the Raja Yoga, and the Nirguna Ishvara meditation, which is Jnana Yoga. And again, in the Samadhi itself, we can talk about Savikalpa Samadhi and Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Time I've already taken probably 5 to 10 minutes extra here. But I just wanted to summarize by saying that Vivekananda talked about all the 4 yogas, the Karma Yoga, the Raja Yoga, the Bhakti Yoga, and the Jnana Yoga. And his message to his audience was, whatever stage you are in, whether you are at the beginning as a karmi, or you are advanced, you become a karma yogi, or a dhyana yogi, or a raja yogi, whatever be the stage, you always have a path to follow. We encourage everyone to start following the spiritual path, understanding the transformation that it can bring in all of us. When the minute you start performing the Karma Yoga with the 5 principles that I quoted from Bhagavad Gita, your attitude towards the entire action and the result will be substantially superior, substantially different. Your anxiety, your worries about achieving a certain specific result will go away. And just like they say in sports, you will be able to do your action living in the moment. Don't worry about what happened in the last play. Don't worry about what's going to happen next week. Just focus on the present. And that is what a karma yogi can do with all actions. And I'm going to conclude this with a sloka or with a prayer. But I wanted to thank everybody for giving me this chance to talk a little bit about the Karma Yoga and the Raja Yoga. And hopefully another day we can continue this with Bhakti Yoga and Jnana Yoga to complete this set of 4 yogas that Vivekananda preached all over the country, India, and all over the world. Om Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham